Hi everyone, I'm Miguel Rivera, and this is Real Talk with Miguel Rivera. You're listening to Real Talk with Miguel Rivera, a podcast that inspires individuals to connect, build community, and pursue their passion. My name is Miguel Rivera, and I'm an educator, community advocate, and executive director of Dream Big Project. And I'm sitting down with passionate and inspiring individuals to talk about their stories, the lessons they've learned, and how they're making an impact. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, humans of all ages. I have a very, very special person that I'm going to be introducing to you today. His name is Devin Mata. He is my little big nephew. Devin Mata, he is currently a student athlete at Lakewood High School. He plays football. He loves making people smile, is a very compassionate, positive person. One of Devin's biggest accomplishments is that he lost weight, and he's actually expanding himself and his personal journey. So, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Devin Mata.
Hello, thank you for having me.
What's up, Dev? How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, just living with quarantine like everyone else.
Oh, man, tell me about it. The quarantine life.
Yeah.
How's that been for you? It's been, what, a year now, I think?
Yeah, almost a year coming up in a couple weeks.
That's outrageous to me. It still feels outrageous. I think it's been, really obviously a shocker in the very beginning. It was like, how is this happening?
Yeah.
And now we're a year in. How has this been for you, dude?
So for me, it was a very different change because I was just walking to school every day, going to school,
just minding your
going
business.
football, doing whatever.
Yeah.
And now it's a complete change as to before. So now how school works is a completely different thing. Before I would wake up maybe 6:30 a.m. School starts at 7:50. So I would leave my house 7? Now I wake up maybe 7:30, hop on my computer, and I'm like in the class.
And you're already there.
I'm already there. I don't got to do nothing.
You basically wake up in class.
Yeah, I would literally wake up in class. And most of the time I have like this kind of like sit-up pillow. I put that on the back and I sit up and I do my work like right there. Because it's simple. It's straight up. The teachers can't do too much.
Right. Like they can't really tell you where to sit, how to sit.
What to do.
To do at all, really.
Yeah.
So is that, okay, now, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
For me, I think I don't know. It's kind of both because I feel like my grades have gotten better with the online because I've been able to more just focus on that because there's no distractions. I'm in the morning, my mom's at work, my little brother's asleep or he's in school, and I'm able to just focus. I don't have kids around me talking or whatever. I can focus on the teacher.
Right. And that works for you.
Yeah, it works for me because I like the one-on-one type of thing.
So are you getting one-on-one though?
Like it depends.
Technically, is that considered one-on-one, you think? Like one-on-one would be like going to teachers' office hours or something like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But this is still kind of, I can see what you mean though. Like being online in a Zoom class is still kind of one-on-one.
Yeah, it kind of feels like
you're there on
it.
your own. Is that what you mean by that?
Yeah, because everybody in the Zoom class has their mic muted and it's just the teacher talking. There's no one else talking. You don't have to listen to any of that.
And they don't even have your cameras on usually. You don't even have your camera on.
It depends on the teacher because they can ask you, hey, have your camera on so I know you're paying attention. Or if you just have your camera off, I don't think they trip because Wi-Fi has been really buggy everywhere.
Is it different for your teachers, every teacher?
Yeah, for example, my English teacher likes having our camera on, so we have it on. My math teacher doesn't really trip too much, but it just depends on the type of teacher you have.
Your teachers, not all your teachers require you to keep your camera on.
No.
In the classes that do, are there some teachers that do?
Yeah, there's some that require. They're like, hey,
everybody's cool with that?
Yeah. They're like, hey, have your camera on, or either my English teacher, for example, he's like, have your camera on or I'm going to kick you out the class.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's like...
does he ever kick people out the class?
He has before.
Really?
Yeah, I've only experienced one person, but it was because I think he came back and had his camera on, but he didn't know, so...
Does that person that got kicked out, did you know that person?
Yeah, I did.
Did that person come back with the camera on?
Yeah, they came back with the camera on.
I feel like sometimes, it's, I don't know. I don't know. I think there's some type of policy or law behind forcing kids to have their camera on.
Yeah. I think there is.
Is there any rules at Lakewood? Because you're at Lakewood High School, right?
Yeah.
Are there any, they're not having that rule. Like
I don't know exactly. I think it probably is a rule, but I think teachers have said that they want camera on so they know they're there. But I think a lot of students don't want to be forced to do that if you're not comfortable with people seeing the environment that you live in.
Exactly. And I think that's where I think that's a real, issue, right? Like you can't force someone to turn their camera on if they're uncomfortable and for private reasons.
Yeah.
I know for me, working with students at Norwalk, we actually can't force students to turn their camera on.
Yeah.
So that's why I was wondering if that was the same at Lakewood, but it sounds like it's not.
Yeah. No, for basically two of my teachers, but if you explain to them, like, if you have an issue with Wi-Fi or if it's like solely about, okay, you don't have to have your camera on.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good then. That actually makes sense. The reason why is because I've given some presentations in classes where teachers did ask their students to turn on their camera.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really cool. And all the students had their camera on. I thought that was really cool because the majority of the classes that I do give presentations in during Zoom, like distance learning, all the cameras are off.
Yeah.
But for this one class that I went to do a presentation, all their cameras was on.
Oh, okay.
So that was really cool. I thought the students were a little bit more engaging with the cameras on. It's not as easy to just do whatever you want. Right?
Yeah.
So for example, for you have your camera off.
Yeah,
most of the
sometimes,
time?
yeah.
And are you still doing, like, in class, or are you just doing, be honest.
Come on, okay, I'll be
honest, please.
It just depends, yeah. Real talk. So, it just depends if some classes I enjoy more than others.
Right.
So, like, for example, like, I really like my English teacher, so I don't care about, like, having my camera on or off, so I'm in that class. But for example, I'm not the best at math, but like I do like learning about it, but it's just a lot of it I don't understand.
Got it.
So I try my best, but if I'm distracted with something else, it's just back and forth. But I'm still doing the work. It's just I could be focusing on something else for a couple of minutes.
Right. So it's kind of like that normal struggle that you would have
in the classroom.
In the classroom.
Yeah.
Like you're paying attention, but you're kind of not.
Yeah.
And you know you can do the work, but you're kind of not really, doing what you're supposed to be doing. So it's kind of that same trade-off that you would usually have.
Yeah.
Okay. So what has been the biggest struggle for you then during distance learning with Zoom and all of that? Has there been any struggles?
For me, I don't think there's been any really struggles because like really at first it was really new but when we first started, like at the beginning of the school year, they had us only go for like, they had us do like half days. So it was easy to get like used to. And I got used to it very fast. And in the middle, I used to have like nowhere to actually have like a laptop and stuff like that. But through the school year, I actually got a desk. So like I have a desk where I can sit at and I can do that. So I'm like,
did the school provide that?
No. I bought that. They provide Chromebooks, but my dad actually, my mom and my dad and me split the cost of a laptop.
Oh, okay. Next time, okay, I didn't know this, but next time you're in need of school stuff like that for home, let me know.
Yeah, definitely.
I would have liked to contribute to that.
Yeah, definitely.
So, for future reference. So you actually enjoy the online aspect, it sounds like, of school.
Up to an extent, yes.
Right.
Because, like, obviously I miss my friends and I miss interacting, like going outside. Like,
definitely.
I feel like realistically, I've only gotten one full year of high school.
Damn, that's true. Because
I had freshman year.
Go ahead.
First semester, I was here at Norwalk.
Oh, just gonna say that.
I was here at Norwalk with you playing football, whatever. And then I went to Lakewood second semester, did that, and then I was there the first semester of sophomore year. We kind of got through to second semester, but not. It was barely beginning of second semester. So that was.
Wait, so the pandemic hit your sophomore year?
Yeah.
That's right. Dang. That's true. You really didn't get like a full normal year for you.
Yeah.
There was always something going on.
Yeah, like either I flipped schools or this
Yeah.
happened.
Like in the middle of the transition.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you told me a little bit earlier before we started recording that they announced that you were going back in April?
Oh, yeah. So they haven't, I don't know too much, but from what I know today, that we're supposed to go back at the end of April. And we're supposed to be, because a lot of states are actually going.
Right, I hear that. I heard that LA County, now I don't know if Lakewood and the
Cases
school
are
district
dropping. We're a part of LA County.
Right, I know that, but as far as the approval of LA County, the last thing I heard was they're only allowing elementary schools to reopen. Oh, well, that makes sense, because then middle schools and high schools currently right now are not allowed, but it makes sense if it was for April.
Yeah.
It may be a little bit different by that time.
Yeah.
So basically, they're probably preparing for that to happen.
Yeah. Most definitely.
Right. Worst case scenario, you continue doing what you're doing to end the year.
Yeah.
I think they're trying to do that maybe for graduation reasons.
Yeah.
Right? Because they want to give the seniors maybe a physically distanced graduation rather than a virtual one.
Yeah.
So they're probably trying to plan that out. Like, and the first step to planning that out would be, okay, well, let's go back to school to see if we could do that. Then if we could do that, maybe we could do the graduation.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. So you're ending your sophomore year, right now?
Oh, right now I'm a junior.
Oh, you're a junior. I'm tripping.
Because last year was my sophomore year.
Last year was sophomore year. Dang, so you're gonna be a senior?
Yeah, I'm gonna be a senior.
Oh my goodness.
So that's why I'm hoping to have this year. I can say I had technically a full freshman year. I had a full senior year.
Imagine like your senior year is your wow, that's interesting. Your senior year would be the first full year that's but that's normal, but actually the new normal.
Yeah, the new, because like I don't think we're ever gonna go back to what we had before for a long time.
Not with that large of a crowd of people from different households, you know?
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate and really sad to think about, because it's like, you know, you want to just go back to those times.
Yeah, like I miss it, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So, I'm really interested in learning more about your distance learning online class experience, like in high school right now.
Okay.
So can you tell me more about that?
So let me get into the going back to school. So with going back to school, what my teachers have told me so far is that literally it's just going to be, we're sitting in desk. I think we're going to have laptops, and we're going to be still in a Zoom call, but we're just going to be in the class.
Where will your teacher be?
He'll be in the front of the class, but it just depends, because some students can opt out to not go back. So if you don't want to go back, then you can just also be in the Zoom class at your house. So it just depends.
Continue doing what you're doing.
Yeah, it's basically the same thing.
Like a hybrid.
Yeah, like a hybrid type of thing where you go every like week.
Right.
So
now, is your schedule also broken down? I don't know if it's like this for every school, but at Norwalk, each day is different periods.
I have no clue. They have not given us anything.
Like a schedule? No, for now though. Like right now.
Oh, right now? Okay, so we have about technically 8 periods, but since I'm a junior, I only have about 6 classes.
Right.
Which one of them is including football, so really 5. So I have
classes block schedule, or how long?
Yeah, block schedule.
So an hour or so.
About an hour, hour 15, hour 20.
And you're going to each class every day, or you have?
No, you go. So for odd days it goes 1, 3, 5, 7, and then for even it goes 2, 4, 6, 8.
Right. Okay, so that's just like Norwalk.
Yeah.
So so it's broken down differently each day.
Yeah.
Okay, and is it Wednesday you have the day off?
No, we're not like Norwalk. Okay. So you just go one every other day. You flip.
So every day it flips.
Yeah, it flips.
Got it. That makes sense. And how has that been for you?
I think it's simple. I'm used to it. I've been going to the school for 2 years now, 2.5 years now. Right. So I'm used to the schedule. It's very easy and straight up. I think for newer kids it may be more difficult, because coming into the environment with.
As far as like, oh yeah, that's true. If things change like next year, is it going to be, the schedule's not going to be the same as it is online?
No, it might be, because we've always had the 1, 3, 5. We've always had that schedule.
But usually you would go to every period within one day?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, no. We go 4 periods every other day. So four
Oh, it's
periods one
always
day,
been
four
like that.
periods the next day, 4 periods.
It's always been like that,
Y-
even in person?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. So that's interesting. So what do you think you've learned from this experience, like this COVID, quarantine, virtual learning
I've definitely learned
experience?
a lot. I think you got to learn to be grateful for what you have because it can be
That's true.
taken away like that. Did anybody expect? Because I remember the day COVID hit so vividly. I remember being in my English class. We're working on a project, and the teacher didn't even get the email in her thing. A student was like, "Hey guys, we're leaving school for 2 weeks." At the time, it was just, "Oh, we're gonna be gone for 2 weeks. We got extra
Right, it was
spring
just two
break."
weeks. I remember that.
So he was like, "Guys, we don't have school." And we're like, everybody's excited, so nobody's paying attention to the
All the
project.
students are excited.
This teacher is freaking out because she doesn't get an email. So she like, I don't know if she was mad. She ran out the classroom, went to the neighbor's classroom, was like, "Hey, did you get this?" And then the neighbor was like, "Yeah, go check your email now." So nobody's paying attention to the projects. And
Everybody's like celebrating or something.
yeah, so everybody's happy. So even myself, I'm not focusing too much. I'm like,
Right.
okay, what's
You
gonna
can't believe
happen?
it.
Yeah. So the next was lunch actually, and I come out, kids are screaming,
Everybody's wilding
everybody's
out.
excited, and like I'm like dabbing people up. I'm like, yeah, yeah, what's up? Let's go.
Oh
And
my!
everybody's
Everybody's
excited.
happy.
Yeah. So I only had a couple periods left. Day end. Haven't seen that. Haven't seen kids like that in over a year now.
Oh my God! Yeah, that's a great point, though, right? Like you saying you haven't seen kids like that over a year now. What do you mean by that?
Okay, like in that, and like before there would be kids in the quad, kids in the now the most I've seen is actually another thing I want to talk about, football. We had about like 60 plus kids going at one point during
To
the beginning.
practice?
Yeah,
That's
and
okay.
in summer when COVID was like first around, we had about 60 plus going, and it was, we all had to wear masks, we all had to social distance.
I remember you
Obviously,
talking about that a little bit. Yeah.
also, if we're on the field and you're really tired, you could take down the mask. But like whenever everybody walked in, they always had your temperature check. But I think from what the school year is telling us is that we're gonna have to have weekly COVID tests.
Really?
Yeah,
Like once season is on?
yeah.
Or
No,
when?
no, that's for school.
Oh, for
And
school.
and for season.
Oh wow. Huh.
And now that a lot of people are opting out to not go to practice because of either older family members and stuff like that.
Right,
But
like
now
for
that
risk.
yeah, now that the season got renewed today, I'm hoping a lot of more people come back.
That'll be great, dude. That's that's obvious. It's clear that it's very needed for just the socialization of young people and people in
Yeah,
general.
it's development really.
And it's very, yeah, it's a big part of just human development. So being away from that for so long and in a way where we're almost forced to be
Yeah,
away. And even then, if you refuse that or oppose that, you're making others uncomfortable. So even then, if you wanted to do what you wanted to do, it's still not to the extent that you wanted to do it at, because some
yeah,
people are not with it. So it's unfortunate and it's sad. And I know everybody wants to just go back to normal.
yeah,
We're
definitely.
definitely going to have to go through some things that may be uncomfortable as far as just getting back to that new
Yeah,
norm,
getting back to that one
so
day.
it's yeah, it's unfortunate. And even, me right now being in the situation that I am, a graduate student, still going to school. So it's very interesting, right? Because you're
It's a
talking
lot
about,
different, even.
right? Like you're talking about what your experience is like during virtual learning
Yeah.
online, right? And that could be different. Like you had said, you actually may like it more than
But that could be
going to
different for
school.
everyone.
It's different for everyone, right? But now, like for me, I'm a graduate student, and at the same time, I'm a school counseling
Working in,
intern.
yeah.
So it's like like I'm still experiencing the student part of it,
But you're also
and I'm also
experiencing-
experiencing the other part
Yeah.
of it. So it's very interesting dynamic to be on both sides in a sense, but
Yeah.
also at the same time, it's just unfortunate. Everybody's hit differently by this, and hopefully we can continue to move in the direction where it's getting better.
Definitely.
But you know what I mean? So you touched up on football a little bit. So where are you at now with that? You said that you're back.
Oh, football.
Yeah,
So
it's back.
we before were going like 5 times a week in the summer. We're going
Right.
5 times a week for about. They were limiting our hours then, so we were going about like 2.5, 3 hours, and you can just leave whatever. Now we're going for, because less kids are showing up. There's not as much. You know football. You know,
Right.
there's less linemen. There's less positions everywhere.
Oh
There's no
my
contact.
gosh.
You know, like
Don't remind me.
before we were able to do. Actually, we were able to do contact with mask on, and we are able to run plays, full plays. We got enough people. Now we don't even have enough people for a full lineup on both sides.
Oh man.
And the linemen that are showing up are not like the starter linemen.
Not the actual linemen.
No
you would
starter.
have.
Yeah.
So you have people who are not linemen playing linemen.
Yeah.
So you're not really getting the
There's
full
literally
look.
when I went to practice, there was about me and about 4 other linemen, just about, and that's including offense and defense, which is like crazy because you expect so many more people to show up.
That's
but
right. Yeah.
You gotta really see who's like. I get if you can't go, but there's also another level of like dedication and if you want to go.
I was just gonna ask about that because I don't know if it's fair to judge a person's dedication during the pandemic.
Yeah, I think you can't
Right, 'cause
really
it's
base
like-
off of that because you don't know how they work. You don't know what they're going through at
Right.
home.
Exactly. You don't know what's going on in their mind or whatever it may be. Like they may be afraid of COVID extremely.
Yeah.
And the best athlete on the field, but it's,
Yeah.
you know, so it's interesting and unfortunate at the same time. I am happy to see sports starting to transition though. Like,
Yeah, I'm hoping
because
it
that's
comes
important.
back.
Like, you know, that's a big, like you mentioned, just human development, socializing is very important. The same thing with sports and football, at the high school level, especially at every level. But, and it's also like, think about it too. You look at the professional athletes who are, you know, they have the money, the funding, the support, the privilege to go back and do all of that practice.
Yeah.
Have the whole season, have the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But you look at all these different levels, college, high school.
They don't care like as much.
You don't
yeah.
have that privilege. It's not the same. And yeah, there's just issues there, but we can go on that all day. But you've been playing football freshman year with your first year.
Yeah.
You were what, like 5'10" then? You're like 6'6" now? Like
I'm 6'4", 6'3", 6'4", 6'3".
How much you weighing?
I'm at like 230, 235 right now.
235. You dropped a lot of weight.
Yes.
You dropped like 30 pounds?
55 pounds.
55 pounds.
I used to be a big boy. You know
A
me.
big boy. You used to be a big boy. Oh my goodness. 55 pounds. I didn't realize it was that much.
Yeah, it was.
That also contributed to your height, right?
Yeah, I think from what I've learned. Oh, if you want to go into, So everybody has TikTok, right? You know TikTok. So
I don't have a TikTok.
Okay, well I was
know
on TikTok. So I was scrolling through and I found these twins, and they like compared themselves. Shout out Vision Twins, but they used to be, one of them used to be 350 pounds, and the other used to be 320. Wow. So I see the picture of them, and they show themselves now. They're like 180, 190 now. So one of them lost 120, one of them lost 150, and they're
Fasting.
like, yeah, they did exercise, they did fasting. So they're like, we want to show you how to do it. And I remember I was like, I didn't have the motivation. Like, I didn't have it at all. I was like, So what I did, I remember, so I followed them for like 2 weeks and didn't go in, because they hosted Instagram lives to do it. So they hosted 30-minute, 3 times a day at the time, 30-minute lives to help you. So I remember following them for 2 weeks. And
you attended the lives too?
No, not at the first 2 weeks. So then I remember going to my friend's house, and I didn't have a weight scale at the time. So I didn't know.
You didn't really know the number you were at as far as weight.
Yeah, so I stayed at my friend Cody's house at the time. I stayed the night, and I weighed myself, and I was like, "How'd you let yourself get there?" I was at I don't care to say, I was at 290 pounds.
Oh wow!
And I was like, "How did you let yourself get there?"
Straight beast.
And I was like, "Dude, you're like not doing nothing. You're lazy. You're playing the game. You're not eating well." I was barely even drinking water at the time. Like,
so you were able to identify what you were not doing to help.
Yeah, I knew I was lazy, and I knew that I needed to change because I got in the comfort of quarantine, just being at home all day.
So who who was in control of all this?
I was control with myself. I knew I had to change. So I remember I actually was, I think I finished doing something and the notification popped up on my phone. Vision Twins are live. So I was like, okay, let's do this. I put on the basketball shorts, I put on my shirt, and I did it. And I was like, you did that. Now, look, the hard part is at the beginning, and it will get easier as you go.
Hey,
so I did it. I kept going, and I did consistently for about 4-5 months. And I lost 55 pounds. I noticed drastically because at the beginning, the first week I lost about 5 pounds. So I was like, okay, wow, this is working. So I got to keep eating less, drinking hella water.
You know exactly
fasting.
what you needed to do.
So I knew what I needed to do. It's just I had to get the initiative and do it.
Exactly.
So I did it, and now I'm way happier with myself. I noticed I can do a lot more.
That's awesome.
More comfortable in my own body, which I'm completely not done. I will drop more weight. I will keep going.
I'm proud of you, nephew. I just want to state that for the record, man. I think you've come a long way.
Definitely.
And it's not easy. Like, I understand the challenges, especially those, the talk that comes with the self-talk, right? Like, just that voice in your head that pops up every now and then about yourself, the negative talk. I know what that's like. For me, and I think I shared this with you a little bit. We were talking a little bit about this. I had to lose weight to play football. This was during middle school. This was actually like 6th grade around that time. I had to, for those of you who don't know, if you play Pop Warner prior to going to high school, you have to meet weight limit.
Yeah, that was my problem.
So growing up as a Pop Warner fat kid, it's like one of the biggest struggles in the world. It just... You're constantly told, how much do you weigh? Where are you at now?
What can you do?
What can you do? Oh no, it's too late. You don't have enough time to lose this amount of weight. I remember I started playing football in Long Beach when we lived out there. And then we moved to Norwalk, and I still was just very passionate about football, obviously, even to this day.
Yeah, football is amazing.
And then I signed up to continue to play Pop Warner in Downey Razorbacks. And this was, again, around 6th grade. I think it was, 6th grade. The weight limit was 161. I think this was like the highest level. Yeah. I think it was midgets was the age level, the Pop Warner level, which is the highest, like the max. And the reason I wasn't even supposed to be at the midget level only because of the weight, right? You move up because of weight. You don't move up because of age.
And I still wasn't. So,
and I was still over.
Yeah,
and I was still over.
Me too. Yeah.
So, anyways, long story short, the month before we have to certify, because everyone has to certify for weight. So it's like, by this day, everybody certifies on the team. Basically, what that means is that on one specific day and time, the entire team goes into, this appointment or whatever it is at the center, community center, or the park, wherever it's located for that specific team. You go in and you weigh yourself, and if you're overweight, you're not certified. So you're told that you have to lose X amount of pounds, and you have to come back in 1 week or 2 weeks, and you have to lose that amount of pounds within that time. So anyways, I had to lose, within 1 month, I had to lose 21 pounds to meet certification. Yeah. And I remember the coach pulling me and my parents to the side, as well as another friend and their parents to the side, saying, hey, I don't think, telling our parents, like, I don't think they're going to make weight. If you guys want to, turn in your equipment, I can give you a full refund on everything you paid for, because it looks like, you may not make weight because you have to lose so much and it's such little time. Yeah. And I had to lose, I think it was around 21 pounds. Yeah. And I was like, obviously I was just super upset at myself for weighing this much and not being able to play, because that's all I wanted to do. And so they tell us that, and my friend or my teammate and his dad decide like to turn in their equipment. And I was like, nah, I'm not going to do that. Like, I didn't really understand how challenging it would be or impossible people thought it was. But I was more of like, I'm not going to quit. Like, I'll do what I need to do to play. I end up, the day comes to certify for the weight. I end up making the weight by 1 pound.
Damn.
By 1 pound, dude. And that was the moment where I thought, like, anything is possible.
Yeah, definitely.
If I can do that, I was like shocked and very proud, happy. So once I did that, that's when it was just like a snowball effect for me. Mm-hmm. That's when I realized, like, okay, I could do this, you know, and it just clicked after that.
Yeah, that's actually a similar story. So, my dad, he was the coach of the Lakewood Pop Warner team, and Dylan was playing at the time. He was I think 8th grade, and he was playing with 7th and 8th graders, and I was in 5th grade. So I played with them because I was bigger, and I remember one time I didn't make weight. So literally probably every practice I was probably running around the park or doing something like that. And one time I got really sick.
Running around the park. Yeah, I remember doing that too.
I got really sick, like bad, throwing up, diarrhea, whatever. I lost 20 pounds within a week because of that. So I made, I think out of the whole season, I played about 2 games because they were so, like, one time I was 0.1 pound over and they didn't let me play.
Whoa.
So I remember two
Usually
games.
In that case, they'll give you that.
Yeah.
Like,
2 games I made the weight and I enjoyed the hell. I played every moment with, like, aggression. I did it because I knew, like, I didn't have every moment like everyone else did. So I had to make, like, those moments
the best,
memorable. Yeah,
right, exactly.
The best.
Yep, I feel you on that, nephew. It's and not a lot of people understand the work, just all what that comes with, right?
Yeah.
Some people just overlook it, obviously, or maybe are not at that level and are just don't have to go through those struggles, and that's okay, right? Like, everybody has different experiences and struggles, but at the same time, it's just interesting because people who are overweight, people who don't look a certain way or talk a certain way or know enough about something usually get judged.
Yeah, you get judged
based
before
on that.
People know you.
And that's not fair. That's not right. And that's, excuse my language, but that's fucked up, right?
Yeah,
like
that's bullshit, yeah.
And I think that's why I'm so passionate about representation for those people, because I am one of those people. I was, in those same experiences.
I feel like probably you still get judged for being in your wheelchair.
Exactly.
People don't think you can do. I've noticed, really, sorry for a fucked up thing that I've noticed is before, I didn't really get a lot of respect when I was heavyweight. Now that I've gotten a lot more respect from people. Oh, yeah? Which is crazy.
What made you notice that? Like, how did you notice that?
Because I used to get, like, joked at, the fat boy jokes.
Right.
Flapping the titties. Sorry. Flapping.
You can't use the T word on this part. No, just
sorry. Flapping, whatever, making fun of you. I've noticed it's gone less. Like, because I'm like, whenever someone has ever brought up a joke, now I'll be like, oh, you want to see what I did? I'll show them the twins. I'll be like, hey, they helped me do this.
Right.
And I've gotten a lot of people when we first went back to football, someone didn't notice me because they were like,
really?
They were like, oh, Devin, what's up? And I'm like, yeah, bro. He's like, bro, you look good, bro. You lost a lot of weight. I was like, thank you, bro. I remember that vividly. It made my day. It made my whole day. And
like, somebody recognized the work you put in.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man. Yeah, and that's what it's about, right? Like, those are the type of people you want to be around.
Yeah.
Right? You want to give that credit where it's due.
Because there's a lot of good people.
Because recognize that, and there's nothing wrong with that. At the same time, obviously people are forgetful and maybe don't necessarily remember you or whatever it may be. But I think, essentially it's really important that we just support each other through, especially during a motherfucking pandemic.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, how are you not going to support others during this time? You're just going to bash people for wearing a mask or whatever it may be? Like, that's outrageous. I did ask you a few questions.
Yeah.
And you provided me with some answers. I'm going to go ahead and share those. So I'd asked you, what are you currently up to? Right? You mentioned currently you're up to online school, football, working on yourself, and just helping people the best way that you know how. Can you tell me more about just I know we talked a lot about football, just
Yeah.
all of that already. What are some other things maybe you're currently up to that we haven't touched up on yet?
Currently, I am up to honestly not a lot really. Right now, I've been trying to just grow myself as a person and just be better and be more respectful. Like obviously, like there's a lot of you're trapped in a house with the same people every day. It can get
That's a
consistent,
great point.
so you got to figure out ways to like do different things and not be in that kind of environment with like
Right.
obviously it's a good environment. Sometimes it can be bad because you can get
Because
annoyed
it's
at
just
the
the same
person.
thing over and over.
And
Right.
the way lately I've been keeping myself busy is with I've been streaming on Twitch a lot,
Nice.
and that's how I've been keeping with
Video
myself.
games, or what have you been?
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of Cold War,
There
2K,
we
whatever.
go. I want to get on Call of Duty. I got the PS5 with an adaptive controller. I don't know if you heard about that or know anything about it, but the one reason why I got that controller is because when I play PlayStation or any games, since I don't have good dexterity in my fingers, I can't really pull the trigger to shoot and certain buttons. So the adaptive controller allows me to use those buttons easier. So now I can play Call of Duty. And that used to be my favorite game before I got injured.
Yeah.
Not to go off topic, we'll go back to what you were saying right now, but one of the things that I was sad about the most when I got injured in 2009 was just my inability to play video games
Even
like
do
the way I
simple
did.
stuff.
Yeah, like simple things. I remember one of the first things I thought while I was in the hospital at Rancho Los Amigos in Downey. I clearly remember talking about this with I believe it was occupational therapist at the time, but I remember being very sad about not being able to use my phone anymore, like text, call.
Yeah, that's
like I was
simple.
like literally I was telling my therapist, like, I can't even text, I can't even call, I can't even push a button, I can't even do this.
Yeah, crazy.
Like, can you imagine,
the normal things that you
Right.
expect everyone to be able to do, it was taken away like in a matter of seconds.
Exactly. So that was like the beginning of my first year of living with a spinal cord injury.
Yeah.
And I thought that wasn't permanent forever. Like, I just thought,
but you
like,
grew.
this is it, right? And just similar to you, how you're talking about maturity, growing up, just being more positive and helping people and learning about yourself.
Yeah.
That's the same thing that I had to go through again to learn how to live life all over again with a spinal cord injury.
Different way.
And I just want to also acknowledge that, all spinal cord injuries and disabilities are different. So I don't want to take anything away from others who are going through some different experiences than I am. Similar to what you referenced, like, everybody's different and experiences are different. The same thing with people with disabilities. I can have a C6 spinal cord injury, which I do. Someone else can have the same exact injury and injury level, and we can have totally different recoveries and stories and lives. So just to acknowledge that. But yeah, that's it's interesting. Just the whole full circle of pandemic, being at home.
Yeah.
So what you talked about being at home with the same people. You talked about learning about yourself during this time.
Yeah.
So how did you deal with that?
The way I dealt with a lot of stuff during quarantine was just honestly keeping the mindset that I can do better and that I can grow. And the way I really did that was honestly a lot was with the weight loss. I know, like, hey, you did this. People doubted you. They said you couldn't do it. But look, you overcame that. Now, what's next? Like, not woohoo or like, yay. I want to know what's next. Like, what can you do more than what's more challenging that you can complete than this?
So you were able to. So I think it's important to hear that first you recognize the accomplishment you achieved.
Yeah.
And you congratulated yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's an important part of it, right?
Yeah, because you got to know that you did something, but you can do better.
Exactly. You're like, okay, I did this. What else can I do?
Yeah,
and now
exactly.
then then you start doing that.
You keep going.
Now you move on to the next thing, the next level, right? Like you continue to level up, like in a game, right?
Exactly,
You level up,
going.
keep going. Is that kind of what you're talking about?
Yeah, that's kind of what I've been looking at. So like now, the next thing, like, how are we gonna do? Like, how am I gonna grow more within me? Like, what can I do? And like, I'm still very young. Like, there's gonna be so many more stuff that's gonna happen and more challenges, and just gotta keep going. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, and that's for everybody, right?
Yeah, it's for everyone in this. You
And I
can't
think
give up.
that's why we can relate to. Excuse me. I think that's why we can relate to different stories, right? And how we all have similarities and differences, but at the end of the day, we all connect. Everything connects.
Yeah, one way or the other.
Mm-hmm. And that's why embracing the power of community and compassion, like shout out to Dream Big Project and everybody involved there. Big things can happen.
Yeah,
right.
Dream big is
dream
amazing.
big, right? You really got to pursue that and do whatever it takes to get from point A to point B, whatever that is. No matter how big, how short of a distance that is from point A to point B, it's what remains is the work in between.
Yeah.
No matter what, no matter how far you got to go, no matter how short you got to go, you got to go.
Everything's a challenge.
You got to
It
move.
Don't matter.
You got to do something, You can't just sit there and think about it. You have to take steps. And the great thing about taking steps is that sometimes it doesn't matter how slow they are or how fast they are, right? It's kind of like that. I don't know if you've seen it, but are you familiar with that whole cartoon or metaphor of a rabbit racing the turtle?
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
And the turtle somehow wins even though the rabbit is way faster.
Yeah.
So, if you take those baby steps and just be consistent,
it will happen.
Exactly. You can still end up on top. So, to get to the other questions, I also asked you, what do you think people underestimate about you the most? And you answered, what I think people underestimate about me the most is how dedicated and how hardworking I am.
Yeah.
Why do you say that?
I say that because I don't want to speak too much in similarity, but like I've overcome a lot. And I think I've grown a lot, especially with people like you and Dream Big around me. I've learned that it's not just me in my own world. I got to like look out for others, and I got to be able to go not for myself, but for others as well. So like I've overcome a lot of stuff, especially with football. I used to be, the soft big boys. That used to be me. And now I don't care. I'll knock someone up. I don't care.
Damn.
Like I will go as hard. I will go harder than the person in front of me or behind me.
That's what's up.
So that's what I
love that, man. And that's important, right? So before I go on to the next question, that's an interesting thought that you shared. So prior to that, would you say you weren't able to understand that or do that? Now it's like, oh, I don't got no problem doing that.
Yeah.
Like what you see what I mean? Like what's the difference there?
Definitely. If you're speaking in football example, when I came here, I wasn't comfortable in the environment at all. It was something new. I didn't have my own bedroom. I didn't have anything.
So much you had to deal with.
It was definitely new. So I wasn't like going at it because I was just my whole thought process, I'm not comfortable. I don't want to be here. But over time, when it finally clicked and I realized, oh, I'm going to a different school, I got to change that and I got to be able to grow. Because like now I'm with friends. I'm with my mom again, seeing her every day. Before, if you guys don't know, I only saw her on weekends. So now I'm with my mom. I have that love around me. I have the friends around me. Now I just got to go.
Now it's all right. It's on me now.
Yeah, it's all me. Like I have no more excuses, in which that was a big problem. I made a lot of excuses for myself. And now that I finally got rid of those excuses, I finally am doing stuff.
So before, you mentioned an interesting point, being back with your mom and your friends, but didn't you have that before? So why leave that and go back?
I think before it was definitely different because this was right around, I was only seeing my mom on weekends, which is definitely a big difference to seeing her every day.
Right.
And with my friends, the only way
that mama love.
Yeah, the only way I communicated with them was through either text, video call, or PlayStation. which I didn't play PlayStation much here. I did, but I didn't play too much here.
Not as much, yeah.
So now that it's quarantine and that I pretty much, it sounds bad, PlayStation pretty much like every day, really. So like I'm like on, I'm talking with my friends, and it's real conversations. It's because we're there for hours on end. We're not just gonna be quiet. We're gonna have talk to each other,
Right.
you know. And we're in the game. So, and I'm with my mom, and she's like supporting me. She's supporting me through the whole weight loss, and I love her for that. You know,
That's awesome.
she supported me through everything.
That's like my mom. Just she was there for me, making meal after meal after meal during my
Mom's cool.
diet. During football, like during that time, Pop Warner and all that. So I can relate to that extent for sure. Yeah, man, I'm just happy to see that you're doing well, and you. It sounds like there's a lot of great things happening outside, obviously, with just the pandemic and all that. But I'm really glad to see you happy and just enjoying these changes, and also sharing these changes, right, with others who are listening, and also people just around you, wherever you go.
People could be going through the same exact thing.
Exactly. So many people. Another question that I had asked you was something you do regularly, a practice or a habit that is challenging but totally worth it. You said something I do regularly is football practice, and it's challenging because not many people are dedicated to do it and used to struggle, but I fought and I do better. Can you share a little bit more about that?
As was mentioned before, not a lot of people are showing up, and it could be not the reason that maybe that they're not dedicated, but for the reasons of COVID and that. But definitely a reason is that people don't want to go. Like for me, last week I was not feeling well at all. Like it wasn't even just, it was just I wasn't feeling good. So I didn't want to go. But now like I've realized that, hey, like not many people are going to go. So this is your chance to show like the coaches that you can be better than the last guy.
That's a great point.
So now I got to really dedicate, because now that the season's on, I'm heads in. Like I'm going.
You're
like,
focused.
I don't care. Like we're probably going to start going 5-day practice. We're not even in pads yet, which is bad.
Especially
and we're supposed to have
time.
A season by April. We're supposed to start the season in April. So I think
like in a little over a month.
Yeah,
barely over a month.
I think mid-April.
Oh,
is what I'm
so
hearing.
Maybe 2 months.
Actually, what coach said, April 17th, my birthday. So that's when we're supposed to start the season, I believe.
That's tight.
So, yeah, it's so.
And you're left tackle?
Yes, left tackle.
Damn, that position on the O-line gets paid the most money.
Yeah, I'm gonna make
just so you know.
Bread. Yeah.
Just so you know, left tackle gets paid the most. Do you know why?
Because I'm guarding the quarterback's back, so I gotta really.
Their blind side.
Yeah, the blind side.
Yep. So you seen that movie?
Yeah, the amazing movie.
It's amazing, huh?
Love it.
I hope it inspires you.
Yeah, definitely. I should really go back and rewatch. That movie was great.
I love football movies.
Yeah.
You seen Remember the Titans?
Oh yes, I watched that recently. Actually,
I love that movie.
Months ago. No, maybe like a month ago. Amazing movie.
What's your do you have a favorite football movie?
It's not a football movie. Okay. A favorite sports movie in general, probably Coach Carter.
Oh, Coach Carter is another good movie.
And I love.
They filmed that in Long Beach.
They
at
did?
At Long Beach Poly.
Oh wow.
That's the school that they're at.
Oh wow.
They just don't. They obviously decorated like a fake high school, but that's Long Beach Poly.
But for football, definitely remember the Titans.
Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah, amazing.
Have you seen Varsity Blues? That's another good one.
I think it's on.
It used to be Netflix, I think, but I don't know whether it's on now right now.
They just had this recent football movie. It's called Safety. It's a new one. It's about.
What is that about? Is it good?
It's about this guy.
It reminds me of. What's that one movie with The Rock and he's a football? No.
Oh, that's The Game Plan.
The Game Plan. Yeah, that's not. I haven't seen it, but
they're different. So The Safety is about this dude who's really good, but his mother is kind of like a druggie, and which happens sadly with a lot of football players that are actually good. So he doesn't want to leave his brother up for adoption to go to a foster home because he can't stay. He's at Clemson. So he has his own dorm. He's really smart. So he sneaks his brother into Clemson to live with him. And that's pretty much what it's all about, is how he has to hide and manage football and work and taking care of his brother. How the school wants to like kick him out because they find his brother. I don't want to give too much away, but yeah,
it's
that's
a
pretty
good
much what
movie
it's
though.
about.
It's worth watching.
Movie. Yeah,
it's called what?
Safety.
Safety on Netflix.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna check
on Disney
that.
Plus. Disney
Oh,
Plus.
Disney Plus. Okay, I'm gonna check that out. Yeah, I've been looking for new football movies that I haven't seen yet.
Have you seen
on Netflix, Amazon, HBO, and Disney? But I haven't really found.
Safety is really good.
Okay,
actually.
that's okay. I gotta find that.
Did you
then.
watch All American?
No, but I hear all about it.
Yeah, All American's huge. One of the actors from All American is actually the star of the Safety movie. So.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm going to look into that. No, I love football movies, and I've been watching football movies since forever. Like they inspire me. I think obviously just being an athlete, loving football.
You can relate to a lot of
situations. Easily. But Remember the Titans, I think, is my all-time favorite football movie. Like that takes it for sure.
Yeah.
And I can relate to that on every level. I really love how they incorporate just the college aspect of it. The social injustice part, right, with the racism going on during that time.
Think about that.
And at the same time, that brought them together.
Yeah.
You know, like they fought through that.
Yeah,
you know
they fought each other to fight through that.
So that's even more of the bigger message that I love, more than anything from that. But, I really hope you're able to play football your senior year because I'd be down to go to every game, dude.
Amazing.
That'd be sick.
I'm going to be starter. I'm going to be
left tackle or whatever it may be. I just you're 6'4". How much do you weigh now? 235, you said?
Yeah, 235.
Damn, and you were at 290, close to 290, maybe close to 300. Oh my goodness. That's great, dude, that you're able to put in that work and just challenge yourself. Now, let me ask you this. Was it easy?
Heck no. And I think another part that I like I think if quarantine didn't happen, I would have never done that.
Oh, really? Why do you say that?
I think because now that I was bored of being in quarantine, I finally saw this opportunity and was like, what are you doing that's better than doing exercise for yourself?
Right.
Drinking
like
better,
what else
eating
could
better.
be more beneficial?
Yeah.
It was like the perfect time.
It was perfect time. Everything was
perfect
good. So
everything.
I did it.
That's interesting. Like it's interesting that the perfect timing was during the pandemic.
Yeah. A time you don't expect to happen.
That reminds me, during the pandemic, I also enrolled. Would you mind opening that just so she could exit? So what's interesting to me too is that during the pandemic, it also presented an opportunity to work on yourself.
Definitely.
Right? And maybe, so you can relate to that. Tell me more about how you were able to do that.
I think a lot of it was the mental health is a very big thing. And I think a lot of schools don't, I think teachers and staff are scared to talk about that, which is
I think you're right.
They're scared to talk about it. So during quarantine, all you have is your thoughts. So my thoughts were, you're lazy, you're not going to do anything. And then it reversed, one day. It was like, why are you lazy? Why are you not doing nothing? Because you could do something with yourself, but you're just not.
So you start thinking a little deeper about it.
You got to think more why are you thinking this way?
What's going on here?
Yeah.
I didn't think about this before or this never happened before. What? I see what you mean. That's a great point. And I think, just the most importantly, I think it's great that you're asking yourself these questions at this age, because I know I wasn't asking these questions at this age.
Yeah.
I know I wasn't thinking about mental health during this age. And maybe you hear about it more than I did, right? Obviously,
a lot.
During the pandemic. Where do you hear about mental health the most?
More, probably, David Goggins, probably.
Oh, okay.
I follow him a lot. I'm big on him.
Yeah, David Goggins is dope.
Yeah, he didn't talk
Stay
too much.
hard.
Yeah.
I always wait for that every time. I say it before he says it when I watch his videos.
Yeah, another person that has shown grown up that's different than Gary V. I don't know if you know who that is. I follow him. I follow a lot of people that are really you gotta stay.
You follow Miguel Rivera? He's
Miguel Rivera. Yeah,
no, I'm just kidding.
You gotta follow the motivation because that's where you find it.
That's where you find it. I mean, yeah, that's a great point. You mentioned two key names, Goggins and Gary V. I also follow both of them. They're two people that they're also in my,
my feed. They're always
exactly.
there.
They're constantly in my feed.
So it's constantly, you gotta go, because like,
yeah, I think the mental is the most important thing, really, right? I remember, and just to kind of illustrate why, I remember when I got injured, my brother, shout out to Antonio, we have this conversation often, but one of the things that he mentions to me when I got injured, the night of the hospital, I wake up in the hospital, my entire life is changed, right? He mentions to me that the first thing he had asked the nurse was, how's his brain? How's his brain?
oh yeah,
Is his brain okay?
You could definitely be different. Like you could not know how to move your arms. It just depends how you are. Because I've seen a lot of people that don't know how to. Their brains have missing parts in it, or like you don't. Because if you miss any of your brain, you're like fucked. Like
right, yeah. It's just the central nervous system, the brain, the spinal cord, and everything that makes of the brain. Different components and areas of the brain all connect, and they all do play a role in our day-to-day living. Right?
Yeah.
Speech, emotions, thoughts, memory, all of that is controlled by different areas of the brain. And if anything is impacted or affected, like the spinal cord, in my case, that can also play a role on all of that connection. So anyways, going back to the story, my brother just really wanted to know if my brain was okay, because obviously he knew that would be the most, that would have the most impact on just my quality of life overall. And so anyways, long story short, my brain was fine, or is fine. And right, it's more of a mental, the reason why I'm bringing this up is that I want to illustrate that, life is like, the majority of it is mental, right? I can't walk. I can't really do a lot of the things that I used to do, even to this day. But for some reason, what I hear most from people is, you're doing more than I'm doing, or you're doing more than, ever, whatever, right? So and I don't really think about that. I don't really look at that as a reason to do things. It's not really why I do anything at all, but that does make a lot of sense, right? Yeah. Because it's more mental and it's less physical, right? So at the same time, obviously there are physical parts and needs and everything that needs to be done. So I would obviously need some assistance in those areas where physical attributes are required. But at the same time, if I can mentally find someone to do those physical things for me, then, I kind of get the job done in that way, as far as being able to think that. But yeah, that's, the mental is very, very important, just to touch up on what you were saying. So what do you hope to get out of your remaining time in high school?
I hope to actually have like a full year, because from what I've heard from you, from uncles, from older family members, high school is not something that it's a flash. It goes like that. And to look at it this way, a part of that is being taken from me because of like this. Realistically, this pandemic could have been over if people just listened.
Right. It could have been over much faster.
It could have been over way faster a couple months ago,
I think that the downside to that also is that we also needed the vaccination.
Yeah, definitely. That was
so that part. We still need to wait.
Distributed.
But yeah, we're here now. Hopefully, it continues to just speed up, and we're able to get back to the new norm and socialize as much as possible, as safely as possible. Because I know a lot of people are definitely hurting for it, including me. I miss being around people. Excuse me. I miss being around people. It's fun. It's obviously it makes everything much more engaging and funner and exciting. So I'm looking forward to getting back to that. And at the same time, I'm looking forward to graduating from college this May, just to transition into that as well.
Clap up for that.
Hey, yup.
Not many people can do it.
Man, I know there was a point where I thought I would never go back to school or graduate. I thought that was it. So it's interesting. Just, thank God that we're finally here and we're able to move forward, man. And all of our family members, who are with us now. Just thank God everybody's healthy right now at this point in time too. Shout out to everyone. Just hope you all are well. Hope your family members are well. And if you did experience something not so well, we're here for you, and definitely reach out if needed.
Reach out, definitely. For anyone listening, you're not alone.
So, Dev, one thing I like to conclude each episode with are rapid fire questions. You ready?
Yep.
All right, man. Here we go. What is your favorite meal?
My favorite meal? Ooh, that's a good one.
Favorite meal?
Probably because, not just because it helped me lose weight, probably a breakfast
Don't say
sandwich.
a pollo loco.
A breakfast sandwich.
A breakfast sandwich?
Grandma's
Grandma's breakfast sandwich.
Shout out Mom's Coquina.
Shout out to Mom's Cocina. Yup.
Cocina.
We haven't even sold the breakfast sandwiches yet. We should probably sell them on there, huh?
Should. You can get on that.
I swear, everyone, even Uncle Ivan's, his friends, my friends,
yeah,
all of your uncle's friends love Grandma's breakfast sandwiches.
She's great with it.
Bomb. Super bomb. The last TV show you binged and loved?
Ooh, that's a good one. Actually, that's a good one. Okay, let me think.
It can only be one. It can only be one.
It can only be one show. Okay. It sounds cheesy. Right now I'm currently watching Henry Danger.
Henry Danger. What is that?
It's a Nickelodeon show. It was the last really good Nickelodeon show.
Okay.
That's currently what I'm watching. But if I had to say the best, would probably be The Arrow.
Oh, The Arrow on Netflix.
Arrow was good.
I still haven't got to that.
I haven't fully finished it because I don't want it to end.
Right.
So I'm taking breaks. Probably The Arrow or you only said one. Never mind then.
No, go ahead.
I don't know if do you remember the show Heroes? It was
it on yeah, I think so, but I don't think I've ever seen it.
Heroes is about these people that develop powers and
right. I remember
do with their powers, and there's many different. Amazing show. Stan Lee, I know, was a part of it. It was
really?
Yeah.
R.I.P.
He even made a cameo in there. Rest up. So yeah, probably Heroes or
Arrow. Okay, nice. I'm gonna check that out. What is something, and you kind of touched up a little about this earlier, but I believe the question is different. What is something that most people get wrong about you?
What most people get wrong about me is I want to stick with my dedication. Really, how far I've come, which is something we've repeated a lot, but I think I don't want to just bloat on it or gloat on it. Just pretty much what I can do.
Why do you think people get that wrong about you?
As you said before, how you look, how you are. People don't know you, but they'll judge you off of one glance.
They'll judge, right, and that's terrible.
I feel like the sad part is you probably got judged for being in a wheelchair.
Oh, yeah, all the time.
Definitely. I've got judged for being fat when I was chubby. Sorry, I don't know how you say it.
No.
For being like that. And now, people don't know you, and you got to let them know you with your voice.
Right, your voice and your actions.
And how you do everything.
Exactly. I love that. That's awesome. Last question. Tell me one thing you are grateful for.
Honestly, just to have my family and a roof over my head, because not many people have that, which is sad. Not many people have a roof over their head. It's real. It's you take the stuff that you think everyone should have, and not everyone does. You got to be grateful for everything. I'm grateful for this bottle of water that's here, because not everyone has access to this.
Right.
I can drink water whenever I want, but not everyone has access to that.
Right. The reality is not everybody has access to that.
Yeah.
Devin, I appreciate you being on the podcast, man.
Of course.
My little big nephew, it's really good to be able to see you just grow and develop. And
Thank you.
I'm here for you. Anything you need from me.
Of course.
Definitely don't hesitate to reach out. But again, thank you for being on the podcast, brother, man. Where can people follow you? Where can people
You can find me on Instagram or TikTok at Dev Can't Lose. And on Twitch, I'm Dev Can't Lose with 2 E's.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it from the man himself. Thank you for listening. Have a great day and a great night.